Are you ready?
Yeah, right.
We need an intro gag. Okay? So what's our intro gag going to be?
A little song.
Okay, what's the song?
Oh, it's time that Troy and Crispy review She-Hulk. Da-da-da-dun. Thank you.
Roll the intro. Roll it. Go with it. Fine. That's our song.
Yeah,
Go.
right.
Let's talk about She-Hulk. Do it.
Thank you. Hello and welcome back to Who's There, a She-Hulk Attorney at Law podcast. I am your host, Crispy Pro, and joining me, as always in our special episodes, is Troy Red Arch Alive. How are you?
That is so jarring hearing you say something other than Doctor Who in the name of the podcast.
I know.
It's so jarring.
It felt odd. It felt really odd saying that. But I mean, hey, we're here. Special episode number 2.
Yeah. I mean, how long has it been since special episode number 1? Like months? I don't even know.
Nah. Three weeks max. Surely.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Thor only came out 3 weeks ago. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, that, isn't it?
Oh, it feels like a lifetime ago.
It does. I think it's because this has obviously been a 9-week show that it feels like obviously it's been way longer.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the weird thing now. It won't be another MCU TV show. Well, I keep saying this going, there won't be another MCU TV show now till 2023. But when I think about it, I'm like, well, that's only just over 2 months away, 2023.
What's the next one?
I don't actually. That's a good question. We should look at this maybe later and like talk about what's coming up after it. I feel like we're doing this the wrong way around.
Our entire review is just looking at the future of the MCU.
We'll forget She-Hulk. Let's talk about Phase 5. Let's go.
Secret Wars.
Oh, it's Secret Invasion. What? How have I forgotten that? We'll talk about it later. But yeah, of course, it's the one TV show I've been looking forward to the most for the entire MCU.
Yeah,
I don't know why I forgot that was
True
next.
True that.
Oh, I don't know. I'm good though, man. You know, we're here to talk about some She-Hulk, some hulking out. Give our thoughts on She-Hulk because it's certainly been one of the more divisive MCU TV shows.
Definitely.
For sure.
Definitely.
So we just want to kind of talk about it a little bit, like we did with Thor 4, which is going to be a bit of an off-the-cuff chat about what we liked about the show, just as something a bit different, you know? And if you guys like it, we'll do more. And if you don't like it, we'll probably still do more because, you know, the Thor 4 episode, I can't English. I'll get
Just
stuck in
English.
my words. Yeah, we'll just move on from that. We'll keep that in and move on. So what did you think of She-Hulk?
I thought it was like quite a fun time. I thought it was one of the MCU shows that actually took advantage of the TV format, which I really liked. I think I kind of wanted a bit more of the like case a week story. I really like because I think that's kind of like probably what it was pitched as. Oh, we'll have like all these wacky characters and we'll have a different court case each week. But you know, there was a lot of fun interconnected stuff, and I really enjoyed like all of it. I had a really fun time. It was nice and short, and I don't know, it didn't take much of a toll on me watching the show. It was a fun time. What about you?
Marvel stuff is it always takes a toll on
it's
you now,
getting a bit tedious. I'll be real.
What?
I'll be real.
What
There
do
is
you
a
mean
lot
it's
of homework. There's a lot of homework to do.
Oh, come on, mate. Come on.
There is.
You're calling it homework? That's not a good sign. I don't like that.
Well, I never finished Miss Marvel, even though I really did enjoy that. As you know,
mate.
I've seen the first episode of Moon Knight and was like, this is fun, and then never caught up to it. I don't know. There's a sheer quantity of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's this obsession. People going, "Oh, there's so much to watch now," but you don't have to watch everything realistically.
Exactly.
Like, you don't need to. You know, you just pick what you want to pick, and then like most of the gaps that get filled in from whatever you're watching. And if you want to know more about a character, you just watch their show. You know, you don't have to.
Yeah.
I think we should do like a Phase 4 episode of this podcast, like probably after we talk about Wakanda Forever, because I imagine that'll be the next thing we do for special episodes.
Yeah, probably.
I'm booked to see that opening weekend, so you better be as well, buddy. You better.
How?
It's
like
just
soon
under a
is
month
it?
away. I think it's Saturday
Really?
the 12th. I've booked it for of November.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
Comes out
Well, that's
Friday the
exciting.
11th. Yeah, it is. I booked it for IMAX and everything, mate. I'm excited. It was too
wow.
expensive, but still.
Worth it.
So, well, do you remember what I said about She-Hulk when it first started coming on? Like, I think I mentioned it on the podcast. Did I say what I thought of the first episode?
The first, yeah, you're not a fan, which I thought was funny because I was quite the fan of the first episode. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool, and you were like, oh, Come on.
I did not like the first episode at all, and I was planning to rewatch it before we recorded this. I haven't had a chance to, but for me,
Explain.
that first episode, when I watched it, it kind of annoyed me because it felt like they rushed through all of the She-Hulk setup stuff just to go, right, we're not doing more Hulk stuff now, it's going to be a lawyer show. And we obviously, by the end of it, was like, no, there is going to be some Hulk stuff. But it felt like just in that half an hour, they kind of stormed through all the Hulk kind of setting up and, you're going to be a superhero and all this. And it felt like they were trying to do about 5 different episodes in one. Like that in itself could have almost been its own TV show. I'm glad it wasn't in hindsight now. But the way that episode flowed is almost like you could have set like the Hulk stuff up as its own show, and that could have filled out a few episodes and then gone into the lawyer stuff. Like I said, I'm glad they didn't now, but it just felt in that first episode where I was like, there's a lot going on here and I'm not sure how I feel about it all. And I was getting used to the kind of the comedic angle because it was obviously Marvel stuff's comedic, but it was kind of like a bit more of a comedic edge to this one than others. So I left the first episode being like, I don't know. And then every other episode I really liked. I just started to like the show more and more and more. So I was really, really happy by the end of it. I thought it was fantastic. And the finale was so good. But there's something to be said, about what you said about, the whole feeling like a TV show thing. Because it very much did feel like, I don't even WandaVision, because I know WandaVision is the one people say is, the one that felt most like a TV series. And that's true. But I think it's more true for She-Hulk. She-Hulk feels like the most TV show style Marvel show they've done, because the other ones feel like, their movies stretched out to 5 or 6 hours. That's not necessarily saying they're bad, because a lot of them work at the 5-6 hour template, but they do feel like stretched out films just cut up into episodes. Whereas like this felt like a proper TV show, like courtroom stuff, superhero stuff, and it was really well mixed. That's why like I'd only seen the first episode, so I was like, I don't really know where is this going? But now, having seen the others, I was like, no, I get it. They need to get through the Hulk stuff so you could see her kind of not wanting to be She-Hulk and then having to be She-Hulk, and like that was the main character journey rather than the origin story, which I kind of like. It kind of skipped almost the origin of it and just kind of diced through it really quickly, which I liked. And the Hulk said, bruh. So
it's true. I heard that that episode 1 was actually supposed to be much later in the series. Did you hear this? And then they were like, oh no, we'll put the origin at the start.
No, I didn't hear that
at all. Oh, I think that was the case, that they moved that episode up because they're going to be like, oh, audiences will be far too confused if we just go straight into the lawyer show. So they had that at the start. So I feel like maybe you and probably myself would have appreciated if we had like a few episodes with just Jen being lawyer stuff, and then we get this massive backstory with Bruce, which would have been cool. But I mean, as far as everything played out, I'm very happy with the show, and it gets me excited for a season 2, which I think they confirmed, by the way.
I think so. I'm just wondering what's going on with your camera right now, mate. It's like there's a Slovene unmasking in your room because the light keeps flickering and your face keeps going from like saturated to light. Are you seeing that?
If there is a Slovene in my room, we're in trouble.
Well, we are in trouble. No, it's like something in front of your face. It keeps like the whole camera goes a bit brighter and then dims again. It's odd.
I think it's trying to autofocus and it's freaking out because I've tried to put lights in this room.
Maybe your camera's trying to Hulk out or something. That was a terrible joke. Nice. So, what did you think about like you said, it was kind of a different court case every week. What did you think about that format? Like that every episode felt a bit more unique and not quite disjointed, because there was obviously some connective tissue between some of the episodes, but like, how did you feel about it being more isolated stories per week?
No, I really like that, and I kind of like the idea, much like Who's There, a Doctor Who podcast, that you can kind of just hop in on any episode you want,
Oh, that's nice. You know? That's what you did there. That was clever. That was clever.
Very good. Very good.
I like that. But
they're just little bits of fun, and I like how, Jen directly addresses the audience and be like, we're doing the wedding episode? Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go. Let's do that. So that I really liked it. Did you like the singular format?
Well, yeah, I really liked the isolated stories. I think it worked really well, and it also meant that characters didn't overstay their welcome too much. Some popped up more than once beyond their episode, but it was nice because you kind of got to have dedicated time with each of those characters. You got to have some time with Abomination, some time with Wong, some time with Daredevil, and none of them particularly outstayed their welcome in Jen's show. Like, they complemented it really well, and then they were. Apart from when they fell out of the sky randomly, or, came to pick up Abomination from prison, or that kind of thing.
Sure.
But we won't talk about that just yet. Well, that's a good point. You mentioned the fourth wall breaks. That's probably a good thing to start on with now. What did you think of Tatiana Maslany as Jen, first off? Like, her whole performance, not just the fourth wall breaks, but everything.
No, I really, really strong. Really, really strong.
She was fantastic.
I felt sorry for her because, I mean, you and I would very much know from Doctor Who, as soon as they, cast a female in the lead, there just seems to be an entire problem with any fandom if you mess with anything like that. So I feel like she got a lot of unnecessary hate her way, but I thought she gave an excellent performance. I thought her and Matt Murdock, them together, I felt genuine chemistry there. I was like, wow, I'm invested in this. And I don't know. I mean, especially with the fourth wall breaks, like the entire purpose of that is to kind of invite you into her world. So I very much felt like, she was a great host for me to watch She-Hulk Attorney at Law. She was great.
She was fantastic. She was really, really, really good. I mean, I'd like you said about the hate, honestly, like, do you remember when the press tour stuff started coming up, or like the videos saying, like this tweet, say She-Hulk and all this, to watch the show? She had a t-shirt on that said support trans futures. Even that got backlash. And it's like, are you kidding me?
I could not believe that. I remember seeing that. I mean, like, guys, you're getting mad at a t-shirt, and then the fact that you're getting mad at that says so much about you.
Exactly.
If you're getting mad, like, seriously? Really?
Like, they're saying, like, that's like, oh, it's forced. I mean, I hate saying the word woke because it's always been stupid, but it's like, oh, it's forced wokeness from Disney. No, she just is wearing a t-shirt to say she wants to support transgender people. What is the problem?
What's the big deal?
People will find issue with anything, honestly. But the fourth wall breaking, to me, like, when I'd seen the first trailer for She-Hulk, there was no fourth wall breaking, so I was like watching the trailer and thinking, this looks okay. Like, I knew going into it as my least hyped, like, Phase 4 thing from Marvel.
Oh, really?
Like, I was gonna watch it. I was like, oh yeah, because I love everything Marvel. In case it's not obvious, Captain America, Shield on the wall and all. But like,
nice.
I love everything. But I was like, on my list of things, She-Hulk's probably at the bottom. I'm not sure how I feel about that in comparison to everything else. We'll see. Because even Miss Marvel, like, I had experience with Miss Marvel because of the Avengers game that came out a couple of years ago. She was like front and center of that. So I got to know her through that game, so I was excited for that because of that. I was excited for Kate Bishop in Hawkeye because I'd read some of the comics and seen her in the Avengers game. Like I had reason with She-Hulk. I didn't really have much experience. The closest I got was she was a character in Fortnite at one point. So really nice, the height of character development. So I was like, this looks like it could be cool. And I watched the first trailer and I was like, this seems okay, but I'm not like super excited. Then the second trailer with the fourth wall breaking, I was like, oh no, this looks good. This looks really, really good. And that was the thing, was when I found out that She-Hulk did fourth wall breaking before Deadpool, I believe. She was the first Marvel character to do it.
In the, like, do you mean like in the comics?
Yeah, in the comics, which was
I found
to me.
So wild. Yeah. Because, I mean, whenever I've associated comic books and fourth wall breakings, I'm same with you. It's just Deadpool.
It's Deadpool's thing,
doing the Deadpool thing. And then, She-Hulk actually did it first, which is really cool. And I appreciated cool. They watched a lot of Fleabag before doing the show. Have you seen Fleabag at all?
Was that one of their direct inspirations?
Yeah. Well, they use that for inspo. Yeah. And I was like, damn, they've done their research, because Fleabag is one of the best fourth wall breaking shows I've ever seen. Probably the best. I mean,
Fleabag literally opens with her. What was it? Like, she's literally sleeping with the guy. She's just looking at the camera, going, "This is all right."
Legit.
It's like Fleabag is just its own entity of TV show. It's wild. It's wild. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, man, she is absolutely amazing.
Give her all the awards.
Put her in She-Hulk. She should go in She-Hulk, and then she should also force fourth wall break with Tatiana and just see the chaos that erupts from that.
My goodness! And then Ryan Reynolds rocks up and like, guys, we
have
to look anywhere else but the camera.
And Wolverine as well. Throw him in, Deadpool 3 and all that. I love how they announced the date for Deadpool 3, and then literally like 3 weeks later, all the Marvel dates have shifted. So now Deadpool 3 is coming out 2 months later than the announcement. It's like, oh really?
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, Blade, man. There's some stuff going on with the Blade film. It's on
hold, hey.
Yeah, apparently the script was really bad. Mahershala Ali, who's playing Blade, was like, this is terrible, what's going on? And they sacked the director, I think, or the executive producer. Yeah. They boosted him off and like, right, we're gonna do a new script. So they delayed the film by, I think, about a year. And so loads of release dates have shuffled along. I'm just glad that at last the Marvels didn't get moved for something. Captain Marvel 2 has been moved like 3 different times because of COVID and other dates changing. Yeah. Well, that's the film I'm so excited for, because it's Captain Marvel, and it kept moving, and I was like, stop. And I remember when it got tweeted, I think it was in May or July this year, it was like, the Marvel's original release date was today. And I just keep thinking of that, Tobey Maguire meme, where he's like, They stole it from me. They took it. That was today. Today. Like,
Today.
I love that meme. And
It's
that
so
was
true,
my face
though.
for the whole of that day when I realised the Marvel should have come out. But I mean, we've got what? 9 months still to go till it releases. Ugh. I need it. I need it in my life.
That's all right. It'll be around the corner. Just like we waited for the Power of the Doctor. We can wait.
Oh,
we can wait, mate.
So you did that. So you did that. So you did that.
Yeah, we're recording that episode after this, guys. And
Yeah, exactly. Well, episode 30 is the next one. Yeah. Goodbye, Jodie. Goodbye, Jodie.
Oh my gosh.
So I want to talk about a few other characters as well. Because I'm actually trying to structure this a bit. We're trying to structure this. You know, it's not quite so off the cuff. What do you think of Abomination in this show? Either in comparison to the Hulk film or just generally? Because I have some thoughts and I wanted to see what yours are.
I know. Well, I don't really remember much of the Incredible Hulk film, apart from Edward Norton and being like, this is fun. And then there was a love interest in that movie. I don't really remember what was going on in that film. So I didn't really remember much of Abomination. Did Abomination have an English accent in that movie? Sorry, you're having some chippies right now. You're having some chippies right now, mate. Oh,
I was hoping
you asked me a question so you could eat.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
I was like,
sorry.
I'll cut my audio track out here and just have a few crisps while you're talking.
He's having some chippies.
I went too far. I put too many crisps in my mouth and then I couldn't finish them in time to answer your question. He didn't. He didn't. Well, I'm trying to think. Let me see if I can find. There's a clip in particular. I think he might have had a bit of one at one point, but Abomination did not. Abomination had a fight with Hulk at one point. Was like, "You don't deserve this power," like a really deep voice.
Oh right.
So there's a big difference between Abomination and the Hulk and Abomination in She-Hulk. I'm just trying to find.
That's so weird.
There's a clip where he goes how he goes into the here it is. Let me see. No, that's a soundtrack. I don't want the soundtrack. I want the clip. There's a clip where Ross walks into the hospital and Emil's just sat on the table. He's like, "How are you feeling?" He's like, "I'm peed off and ready for round 2." And I'm trying to remember what his accent is in that clip, and I can't find it. So let me see if I can find it. You keep talking. Talk about Abomination.
Abomination, great name. Really, really strong name. I loved the CGI of the show was pretty good. I liked Megan the Stallion. Megan the Stallion was something else that I forgot that was a huge...
That's not Abomination.
I know. I'm just talking about stuff that I didn't know if we were going to get to. But I just remember seeing the post on Twitter from Pop Crave being like, Megan the Stallion is officially part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I was like, that is hilarious. Well done. Well done. I know a lot of people are mad at that. Some people are like, wow, Tony Stark died for this. Yeah, well, look, stuff happens still in life. Just because Tony Stark died doesn't mean no one's allowed to dance. Have a little bit of fun. Come on, guys. Come on. Are you watching Megan the Stallion twerk right now?
No, I'm watching the literal film on Netflix. Here we go. How you feeling? Okay. So he does have the British accent.
Oh.
I'm just looking at this.
Damned.
Wow, that's bloody. Damn it, I don't think that was in the original cut. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll talk about Megan Thee Stallion in a minute because I want to talk about that because that got one hell of a reaction, didn't it? But I've just looked in Netflix. He did have the British accent when he said that, so he's kind of got a similar accent in the Incredible Hulk to the She-Hulk film, which I kind of almost forgotten. But the thing that I'm used to now that I've seen Tim Roth in since the Incredible Hulk is a show called Tin Star, which I think I've mentioned to you before. I can't remember.
What show? Sorry.
Tin Star.
Tin Star.
Yeah, he's basically he's a police officer that moves from the UK to Canada. He's trying to escape his past and stuff like that. He's an alcoholic.
Oh no, I think you have talked about this.
It's like a dark comedy drama. It's a fantastic show. Honestly, one of the best shows I've ever seen. Really, really good show, and it's one of the reasons that I love Tim Roth because his performance in that show is just stellar. And it's well worth watching. Also, the last season is set in Liverpool, so that's also a big plus.
You love it.
The last series is literally called Tin Star Liverpool. It's so funny. But there's a great sequence in that show where he gets shot at by somebody while he's in a graveyard, and then there's this western banjo music playing in the background while there's this big gunfight chase, and it's the wackiest thing but the funniest thing you'll ever see. It's so good. Like that. I wish there were more clips of it on YouTube because I could just send you the clip, but it's just nowhere. I don't get it. It's weird. So I'm used to him having that dark comedic edge, and also he's a bit higher pitched in She-Hulk than he is in Incredible Hulk. He's kind of got that more kind of all over the place not in a bad way, kind of vocal tone where he's a bit high-pitched and a bit low-pitched, kind of bounces around. He's very much playing Tim Roth, playing Emil Blonsky, at least to me. Like that energy that he's got. That's a very good
way of putting it,
which I love. My only issue is I'm not sure I'm the biggest fan of him having the same voice as Abomination.
I'll agree with you there. It's off-putting.
It's off-putting, but I think that's obviously because Smart Hulk is the same thing now. He's got the same sound voice as Mark Ruffalo, so they're trying to reflect that with Abomination. But I guess because we haven't had that same character development, and he said, now I can control Abomination on and off, which is great and all. It's like, which is good because it gives us just more of Tim Roth. I was worried he'd be CGI for the whole thing, so I'm glad he's not.
Yeah, true.
And like in Shang-Chi, we didn't hear him speak, he just roared. So I was like thinking, oh wow, we got like big scary Abomination. Then he just talks, he's like, all right, sorry, let me just shrink down, So I'm not as sure about that bit, but I love Tim Roth's performance, and I think he's fantastic. The weird thing was in the finale, which we'll get to in a minute, but like the fight between Hulk and Abomination that was like 10 seconds long. Abomination was so much bigger than the Hulk.
Yeah, because
I thought Smart Hulk's
smaller.
Yeah, he's smaller, but I thought he wasn't much smaller than the original Hulk. Like, I didn't think there'd be that much of a height difference between them. Abomination has been eating his greens, let me tell you.
He's definitely been eating his greens.
He's
absolutely
massive. He's one big chunky boy, and in the nice little overshirt and everything. You look cool in that.
Yeah,
But yeah, the Megan Thee Stallion thing, because I heard you like saying about that while I was watching the clip, and I was like, oh yeah, let's talk about that. People got so mad over that twerking scene at the end.
Unreal. It was crazy.
I'm like,
come on.
Star-Lord danced to literally save the universe or the galaxy in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he danced like an absolute idiot. There was another one where dancing was a plot, and I can't remember what it was, but there's like dancing in Marvel films is not new. It's only in She-Hulk where it's been a bit more goofy and there's twerking involved, where everyone's getting mad. I know people are saying, oh, it's because it's a woman. I would hope that not everyone is getting mad because of that. Definitely some people will be. But I just...
it works with the plot. The whole episode was around Megan Thee Stallion. I'd be almost mad if we didn't hear some of her song,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I heard WAP, whatever you call it, for the first time after that had been on. Because, the guys I watched the Blind Wave to do the reactions, they did a reaction to the video because a couple of them hadn't seen it. So I was like, look, I haven't heard the full song start to finish still because I never wanted to because I know it's about. I'm like, it's not my vibe.
Wow.
It's not my vibe. But, I watched the video, that they were reacting to, and I was like, wow, this is something.
I don't know how YouTube approved that music video, I'll just say it. I'll just throw that one out there.
Very, very questionable video from what I've seen, and I imagine it's probably worse than what was included in that reaction. There's probably stuff they omitted out of that for the sake of TOS.
I'm sure. I am sure.
It's an interesting one. But yeah, so I liked the twerking thing was goofy. I thought it was funny. I don't care.
Yeah, it's just a bit of fun. It's literally...
I love seeing the memes of Tobey Maguire. Have you seen the clip of where they put Tobey Maguire in there with them, and he's doing the dan like the dance with them? Just it's
so good.
I love Marvel.
So good.
I love Marvel. I don't care.
They're very cheeky.
I'm just a basic consumer. I enjoy these things. I don't care. So we got that. We got Wong. Wong was so good in this.
Wong was great.
We are living in the Wong cinematic universe. Can we talk about this?
Absolutely. If anyone wants to talk about connective tissue in the Marvel films, it is Wong.
Yeah, it's Benedict Wong, who is a Scouser. I would like to point out. So
is he?
He's a Scouser.
I would. I've heard some interviews, but I couldn't place the accent.
Is he? Wait, is he a Scouser or is he from Bolton? He's from one of the two. I'm almost 99% sure he's a Scouser. Or is it that he was born in Manchester and raised in Liverpool? He's got some kind of connection to Liverpool.
I don't know.
He's a lifelong fan of Manchester United.
Oh, there you go, man.
No. Ew, why? Why? No. Benedict Wong, Liverpool. I'm looking up. He's from Liverpool, right? He's from Liverpool. Oh, back home in Manchester. I know he had some connection to Liverpool. I know he did. But either way, Manchester's pretty close. Well, hey, he's from the same place that Pale Waves are from, so that's another reason to love Benedict Wong.
Oh my gosh, wow. You managed to slide Pale Waves in there.
He's in Doctor Strange 2, Spider-Man No Way Home, Shang-Chi, She-Hulk. He's all over the place. And it's iconic.
Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame. Yeah,
we are in... And I love those memes that came out at the time where it was like Wong and Morbius. Imagine those two in a movie together.
Honestly, they would release that for a second time and it wouldn't flop.
It's Wong in time.
Wong. It's Wong in time.
Imagine if instead of a walk in War of the Sontarans, Dan had a Wong.
I'm just gonna Wong right out of here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no, I'm gonna Wong right out of here. Just looking for the Pierhead.
Just looking for the Pierhead.
That's our running joke. So we've got to then talk about the boy, the icon, the king, Daredevil.
Wowee.
They could not have handled him better.
Everyone was so worried.
Yeah, everyone was
worried. Oh, they're
terrified.
gonna mess him up. Oh, we've seen the costume early in the trailer. Oh, it looks horrible. Oh, they're gonna mess it up. And then they give us a hallway fight. My goodness.
How much of Daredevil have you seen on Netflix?
A few. I think I've seen most of the first season, but it's been a while.
I've seen all of season 1, and I've seen the premiere of season 2, and I've been meaning to carry on with it, and I'm going to. Like, I love Daredevil. Like, that show is fantastic.
Yeah, it's beautifully shot. Can I just add?
But Charlie Cox is just absolutely fantastic, and there seems to be this ongoing thing that people are accusing Disney, or like people working on the Disney side of Marvel, the MCU, that like, you know, when a character from like a Netflix show comes into the MCU, it's not the same person, they're played differently. The same thing happened with Vincent D'Onofrio with Kingpin. Everyone was like, why is he wearing a Hawaiian shirt? He's not playing the same Kingpin as he is in Daredevil. And Vincent literally came out and went, guys, I'm playing him how I did in the Netflix show. He wears a Hawaiian shirt in the comics, so we tried it out for this because it's something a bit different.
Yeah.
And then same with Charlie. Everyone's like, what? Daredevil's laughing now? He's smiling, he's grinning. And it's like, Daredevil is sassy in the comics. If anything, he was lacking it in the Netflix show, but he does laugh. He has jokes every now and again in the Netflix show. So it feels like people want to criticize it rather than just enjoy it for what it is, which is a masterful piece of Daredevil. Like, it's so good. And I love that suit.
It is great. It was so well handled, I think. I think that was probably my favorite episode of the series. I thought that was handled really, really well. And as I said before, I really liked the chemistry between Jen and Matt Murdock. And the action in that was great. It was just fun. It was fun, like, what was it, 21 minutes or whatever? It was great.
Yeah. It was a really, really, really good episode. And the thing that sealed it for me, I was already sold by this point because I just thought it was amazing, like even the acrobats. And I love, that was the other thing saying that, you know, he's not as good as the Netflix show, and the literal producer or director or something of the Netflix show was like, listen, if we had the budget for what they did, he'd be jumping all over the place in our show the way he was in that. This is like our show, but better. Like he was basically saying, he was like, if we could have the budget for him to be leaping all over the show, we'd be doing that. Believe me, we would have done that. So I love that they're like, that's what we want to do. Like it's got even more of their vision in than the actual show did. But when she says to him, yeah, are you the Gold Devil? And in the background, you just hear the do 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 do. I was like, it's one of my favorite like Marvel themes, and it's literally my alarm theme in the morning. Like when I wake up, I just hear do do do.
You wake up to the Daredevil theme?
I do.
Does that empower you?
Maybe it helps.
Do you feel like a superhero in the morning?
I think so. Yeah, maybe I do. Who knows? No, I just pick random bits of music off my Spotify at times, and like I just switch the song every now and again. But it's been the Daredevil theme for ages, and I was just like, I kind of like this, you know?
I like that.
I think it's also good because it's kind of like it creeps in, you know? It's not like a big loud like pale waves where it just suddenly jumps in with like a big rock thing or something where it's like, no, it's do 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 do, and it slowly gets louder. It's like, are you looking at your phone now to make that your theme?
No. I'm tempted to show you my my wake up alarm. It's my housemate going, hey, pick up your phone. But it's to like music.
What?
Do you want to hear it? I don't know if the microphone's going to let you hear it.
It'll come through on the podcast, but go for it.
All right, here we go. Hope this isn't too loud for everyone.
Hey, you there. Pick up your phone. What are you too important? Huh? Yeah, he's busy.
Anyway, you can't hear it, but the podcast people are going to love us.
Yeah, he's busy, and that was it.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Enjoy that, listeners. Don't worry, the normalizer, the equalizer should have leveled that out. Level later. Forget it. Not beautiful. The equalizer, that's Denzel Washington.
That is Denzel Washington.
It is. But yeah, so I thought Daredevil was handled phenomenally. And so, the last thing is to talk about is the finale.
Ooh.
What on earth was that last episode? That was so good.
Took me by surprise, I'll tell you that much, because I was very much expecting what they do with the Marvel finales and give us a big CGI showdown where it's all, I don't know, and we end the series going, well, there we go. But this one, it was genuinely like jaw to the floor, what the heck is going on? Yeah,
and I love that, like, I mean, for me, I genuinely was watching the finale, and as like Todd was like, I've got Hulk powers now, I was watching it going, okay, what is going on? This is a mess. And then as soon as I realized like a minute later that was the idea, and she was going,
that's the idea.
None of this makes any sense. I was like, right? And as soon as, like, Titania show up and, like, then the Hulk, because Titania, I thought she was going to be the antagonist right the way through the show, the way they were, like, pitching the show to begin with. And, like, she shows up in episode 1, she takes the copyright license to She-Hulk, she pops up at the wedding, but after the wedding, she just kind of disappears, I guess. So she was kind of, like, a more common antagonist, but also didn't overstay her welcome, which I kind of like. You know, I didn't mind Titania. But, like, she shows up, and then Hulk shows up out of nowhere, despite supposedly being on Sakaar, which, he's got a kid. I mean, hello?
Yeah, that was a weird little plot, can I just say.
Everyone's saying his haircut's terrible compared to the comics. I'm like, well, I mean, if it's anything like the barber that cut Thor's hair in Ragnarok, then, you know, you don't want Stan Lee barber touching your hair, you know? So, I don't know about that.
Valid point.
But, like, with everyone showing up, and then she just goes, is this working for you? And then it backs out to Disney+. Like, that is, I realised later that's a direct thing, like, in the comics, you know, she tears through a comic book page, is like, what's going on? What are you guys writing here? This is terrible, blah, blah, blah. And I love that she swings into Assembled to go into our real world.
Behind the scenes.
I genuinely thought, I was like, what if she talks to Kevin Feige?
I was hoping
what if that's where this is going?
Feige.
And then she goes into the She-Hulk room, and they're like, this is the story Kevin wants. I was like, no, you're no, are you going to have Kevin Feige in his own universe? And then she goes to his office, and it's a robot. I really thought for a minute it'd be Kevin Feige, but honestly, I kind of think Kevin as a robot was a better idea. I think Kevin Feige himself could have possibly been a bit too meta, even for She-Hulk.
It would have been a bit too on the nose, and then we would have had to, like, I don't know what Kevin Feige's acting ability is like, but it might have been like, oh, come on, like...
Well, he's having to give us all these release dates that don't end up happening, so, you know, he's got to be good at lying. I'm joking.
He's great at lying. He's acting through his teeth.
He's the perfect politician now.
But no, I half had that reveal ruined to me as I was watching the episode, because I watched it with subtitles on, and whenever they referred to Kevin, it had K.E.V.I.N.
Really?
And I was like, why do they keep on capitalizing Kevin in that? I was like, oh, something's up here. And then it was the Kevin robot that still had the cap on, which was pretty funny. But yes, it was still
punished
fun
for
though.
Using subtitles. That is sad. That is sad.
Yeah.
But, like, there were so many moments in that discussion that I loved. I loved that I didn't catch it properly. I heard it the first time, but didn't properly register it. But him going, you know, can you change back to Jen because you're expensive? And then he's like, the VFX team has already moved on to the project. In the background, you heard the Wakandan drums. So he's like saying, you know, they're already working on Wakanda forever. They haven't got time to start changing you again. So there was that. I loved the X-Men look down the camera. When are we getting the X-Men? She had this weird kind of like lip-biting grim. She's like, yeah, go with the X-Men. And then also the Smash Matt Murdock line. Oh, that was... I laughed so hard. You know,
that was the hardest buildings,
I smash walls and character plots, and sometimes Matt Murdock. And she probably like clicks on the Murdock. Says like she rides that comedy line so well. Yeah. She nailed it.
It was good. It was really good. So,
you know, there's definitely people out there who will criticize it and saying, you know, oh, they must have had a really bad idea for the series 1 plot, so they created this meta thing to account for it and go, hey, it's meant to be really bad. Like, people will spin that to be negative and say, wow, they had to write this because they didn't have a story.
Stuff to be negative.
I genuinely love what they've done here, and I really hope there is a second series. Like, this is like a real show that needs like a second season.
Absolutely.
They mentioned the movie, and then it was like, you know, save it for the movie, and then later on, Kevin was like, you're going to be in a movie, and she was like, really? And he was like, no. And it's like, I mean, she'll show up obviously in like the Avengers Ensemble films, like, you know, Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. She'll pop up in those, no doubt. But like, I wonder if she'll get to be in, like, can they do a She-Hulk movie? Because if they can do a She-Hulk TV show,
I don't know if they would do that. I
don't want them to. Yeah, I think she better fits the TV show.
Yeah, because as we were saying, like she does the TV show aesthetic so well. But I'm trying to figure out what she would pop up in next. It might just be the next Avengers movie.
It could be Captain America 4, because there's like rumors right now about that, because the main villain's meant to be the leader, who was the guy from in the Incredible Hulk who gave the Abomination his powers. You know, that was set up as a plot line where the blood dripped into his head and it got bigger, and then we never saw it again. And then now he's going to be the villain.
20 years later.
I think there's other bits, and like there's rumors that the Hulk and She-Hulk might show up in Captain America 4 as a result, which I'm down for. People are saying, you know, Sam Wilson should have his own film, which I agree. But remember that Thor Ragnarok had the Hulk in it, and it's commonly regarded by a lot of people as the best Thor film.
True.
You know, having other superheroes present does not mean it doesn't takes the light away from them.
Absolutely.
And it feels more like comics then. I like that other characters can pop in. I like that Scarlet Witch was in Doctor Strange too. I like that we have these overlaps now. There's more of these kind of like other characters can show up, even if it's only for a bit or for a while, like Daredevil popping up in Spider-Man or Doctor Strange. I like that we have, you know, not every solo film has to have just that superhero in his world of characters. You can overlap. And that's what's really fun about it, especially when you're not going to get an Avengers film till the end of the whole saga. Like, it's nice to have these overlaps, you know? At least I think so anyway. Personally, it's my
I definitely
personal
agree.
opinion.
I'll definitely agree with you. I hope we see her sooner rather than later. But regardless, I will take She-Hulk as it is.
Oh,
Great
and
series.
actually, the other one with being silly. What's the other show she could show up in? Daredevil.
Oh, please.
Daredevil Born Again. If there's 18 episodes, you could surely fit
how
her
many
in at
episodes?
least one of
18,
them.
yeah.
18 episode first season.
Yeah, give me at least one episode with both of them.
That'll be so good. I'm so happy for Charlie Cox, man. Like, and for Vincent, just like having their like Daredevil was commonly regarded as the best like Netflix Marvel show. So to have that set up so well in the MCU now is like,
it's just
so
nice.
Good.
Nice to have them back.
They better use the same theme for the Disney Plus show, or at the very least a remix of it.
I think they'll do a variation, but I hope they keep the melody. I hope they keep the melody.
It'd be great. Or use it for the credits, because the credits was always this weird kind of like different track that never really sold me. So maybe they could have the main original theme.
I can't even remember what the credits look like.
It's like when the credits start rolling, you just hear the do 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 do.
I'm just looking at the watch next thing on Netflix come up. Boop.
Yeah, and you're like, nope, watch credits, boom.
Credits.
But yeah, so I thought that was very well handled. So I think that pretty much sums up She-Hulk. That was we structured that very well.
That was honestly much better structured than I thought we were going to. So well done.
And we've gone for about nearly 40 minutes, mate. We got a good runtime out of this. Hopefully it didn't take you too long to edit this, you know? I think I probably won't do much editing. I've said this before. I'll probably just like let it run naturally.
Leave it raw, mate.
Apart from, you know, cutting out the gap of me watching The Incredible Hulk on Netflix to fuel my next argument. Get rid of that
watched a movie in the middle of our podcast.
Yeah, just watch the whole movie in the middle of it. Like, now I'm just going to go finish it before we record episode 30 for Who's There.
And I'm just sat here.
What would you give She-Hulk out of 10?
I think I would give it a 7.5 leaning on 8 out of 10.
I was thinking about an 8 out of 10. Yeah. I really, really like that show. I'm not sure it's my favourite MCU show, although actually Simon Pegg said it was the best thing that happened to the MCU since Endgame.
I did see that.
Yeah. I think I said, did I send it to you last night or...
Oh, maybe I
sent it to my mom,
know.
but the video didn't work for her. But he said along the lines of, you know, it's the best thing since Endgame, and I would love to marry Tatiana Maslany in an alternate dimension.
Yeah, I saw that quote. Yeah,
I can relate,
which is nice.
Absolutely
relate. I'll do it in this dimension, mate.
I don't think your girlfriend would approve of that, mate.
Valid point.
Yeah, I don't think she'd like that, unless she likes Tatiana Maslany as well.
I don't know. She hasn't seen it yet.
Send her a picture of Tatiana and go, what would you?
And go, yay or nay, yay or nay.
Yay or nay. Would you marry her? Yes or no? And she just goes, yes. I'm like, right. How about a 3-way marriage? You know?
She might. I'll text her. You do the outro and I'll text her.
You're going to text her right now. All right, go for it. But yeah, I'd obviously rank among the other MCU TV shows, but you can't do that. So I would ask that you watch them before we do our Phase 4 episode, please. Thank you. But thank you, everyone, for watching the second special episode of Who's There, a Dr. She-Hulk podcast. We really, really, really appreciate it. The next one we do now, special episode 3, will be no doubt talking about Black Panther Wakanda Forever when that releases in mid-November next month. Well, then, I would like to do, if Crispy's up for it as well, I would like to do a whole Phase 4 thing and talk about everything in Phase 4, movie and TV show-wise, hopefully if he's watched everything by that point. And then I think also, depending on where he's up to with Andor, that might be something to talk about. I think that ends in December, January.
I have not been keeping up with that.
Okay, well, maybe not. I want to do so much more, as David Tennant would say. I want to do so much more! But he won't make the time for it, and it's very sad. You know, that's what happens when he's got a girlfriend. You can't watch TV shows all day.
Yeah.
Can you just go on a break with her for a bit and catch up on everything and then get back with her? Could you do that?
I have to pause
Don't answer that question. Don't answer that
relationship.
question. No, for her sake, let's not have you answer that question. That's not a good idea. I feel like she would not appreciate you even giving that question the time of day. But yeah,
well, I've just sent it. I've just sent the.
Well, actually, do you know what? Let's see if she replies while we're recording episode 30, and then it can be a reference joke, and then maybe people will watch the She-Hulk episode.
Oh, really? Okay, no, I like that. I like that. Good thinking.
But either way, thank you all very much for listening and watching. We will see you all on Saturday with episode 30 of the main series, where we say goodbye to Jodie Whittaker, and we'll see you all next month for special episode 3, where we discuss Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So thank you all very much for listening and watching, and we'll see you all soon. Do we say Alan Z, or what do we say as our closing thing here?
Smash Matt Murdock.
Smash Matt Murdock!
Bye.